doing? Thanks for doing this. It's been how many months actually have we been working together?
Oh my gosh, I feel like since maybe May or June, potentially
Yeah,
6 months. It's
yeah,
been, yeah, it's been probably six, I'd say.
yeah. Amazing. And you originally won the scholarship last year, which kind of
Yes.
got you going, and that was really
Yeah,
exciting. So
yeah,
I'm really
definitely.
keen to hear kind of like how your experience has been, what you're obviously struggling with, kind of coming
Mm.
into coaching and why it was so important to you that you did something. So that other people can also kind of see themselves in your story because there's so many people out there, so many women that are like struggling
Mm.
with their body confidence, their knowledge around how to fuel their body, how to train. And so hopefully you've picked up a few things along the way and are feeling
Yeah,
really good
definitely.
to
Yeah,
graduate.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
let's start there. Like, what was your biggest kind of challenge? What were you struggling with before coaching?
So I guess before coaching, it had been a lot of years of kind of the yo-yo dieting that everyone does, jumping on a trend or a workout program for a set period of time, maybe losing a little bit of weight, maybe not, maybe falling off the bandwagon, and then just cycling through over and over again. Not really getting anywhere consistently and just being able to maintain a good level of fitness and relationship with food. I think it was a lot of pushing and pulling over years, and it just gets very exhausting and tiresome doing the same thing over and over again and just not seeing results, or seeing them for a short period of time. I mean, the F45 challenge was one of the ones I did way back, and saw amazing results, and then everything just came back and with more. So I think I knew that I needed to do something not only around, I guess, the sort of fitness, getting into the gym, getting a bit more consistency in, but even just understanding around nutrition. I feel like that stuff is foundational. And once you kind of know it, you can then just like build on it. But it's just kind of getting started and doing something that is going to have the longevity, to then be able to just, like you always say, lose the weight and keep it off, and just be able to kind of ride that out and not be always going through this cycle of constantly trying to lose weight. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and it kind of lowers your confidence quite a bit as well. The thought that you can't get the results you want if you put your mind to it. Being able to actually do something, commit to it, and show that it's not hard, it's just consistency and you can see results. I think that's been definitely the most rewarding aspect.
It's so interesting that you say it wasn't hard. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I always thought that it was like, okay, we're going to put you on this regimented, strict workout plan, and you're going to eat a banana for breakfast and an apple for lunch and chicken for dinner, and you've got to stick to this 7 days a week, and you've got to work out 6 days a week. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, because my only experience was the kind of F45 structure. Um, with you can only eat this. You've got to do these crazy hard workouts where you're literally vomiting at the end of them, and that's the only way that I ever saw results. And I thought that that was it. It's just got to be that hard every time, and it's not. It's just a longer period of time and consistency, which yeah surprised me. It surprised me a lot actually.
It sounds so boring too, doesn't it? To be like, oh, I
Mm,
was really consistent with like really simple things. And that's not to negate the hard work that you've put in because it is simple, but it's not necessarily easy. Like you have put in effort and you've really shown
yeah.
up. And those small things mean sweet F all if you don't do them.
Mm, yeah.
So I'm really curious, like there's obviously been a big mindset shift from going like hustle, grind, I've got to be spewing and strict to, oh, I can be a normal person and achieve the body that I want. Like, what would you say the biggest change has been for you? Has it been more physical? Has it been more mental?
It's been mental, definitely mental, being able to just eat food and enjoy it now. But knowing that, okay, I'm going to go have takeaways for dinner doesn't mean, oh, then I'm going to have dessert and then I'm going to start the next day off and have pancakes for breakfast and just kind of fall down the rabbit hole. It's one meal is not going to derail your progress. And I think, especially over Christmas and New Year period, like there was a lot of consistency and just making sure the protein was high and eating fresh fruits and vegetables. But when I was eating meals that were out or with friends, I didn't suddenly go, oh my God, I've gained 5 kgs. Like it was not like that. I just maintained my weight because now I can kind of see how it's the 80/20 rule. It's what you do consistently most of the time, not what you do occasionally that's going to change your body. So just kind of seeing the evidence, I think really stood out for me. That yeah, it's not this kind of mindset of all in. It's just consistency is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah. What I think so impressive to know, like for anyone listening and watching this right now, it's the 9th of January. Like Maddie's just come off the back of basically 3 weeks being on holiday. And it's been so amazing to like hear that you've been still intentional, mindful, and the holidays haven't been a write-off. You haven't gone, fuck it.
Mm,
And it's not been a struggle either. There's been no tension of like, oh, I have to perform over Christmas, or if I do this now, then it's fine because in January I'll get back on the bandwagon. Like it seems as though there's no bandwagon to exist.
mm,
Like you are just a girl that eats and trains, and
yeah.
that has become more of like a year-round thing. Is that fair to
Mm.
say?
100%. Like even just kind of getting home from camping and being away on holiday, I'm like, oh, sweet, I can get back into the gym. But I remember when I was starting with you, I refused to go to the gym. I was like, I don't want to go there. It's not my thing. Like I've never really seen results from the gym. Oh, just please, just make me do home workouts. I don't want to go. And now it's a habit. Like it's just something I do. Whether it's the full kind of 5 sessions, training sessions a week, or whether it's just fitting in 3, the consistency and the drive to want to go is there because I know how it makes me feel mentally. And then obviously, like the physical stuff just kind of goes along with it. So it's pretty funny to see how that shift in I guess my understanding and my love of the gym has changed over the last 6 months. It's, yeah, pretty 360 to be honest.
Been amazing. Like you've become, I'm not saying a gym rat, but kinda.
Kind of, yeah. I spent a lot of time there.
I mean, you do have an amazing gym though. I would probably spend all my time there too. To
Yeah,
be fair,
yeah,
it's a sexy gym.
yeah. It's very nice.
Yeah, I love it. And so from a physical standpoint, what have you achieved?
So managed to lose 5 kgs, which was great. Super stoked with that. And then all kind of the measurements and stuff have gone down as well. So I've noticed a lot of like toning, I guess, within that 5 kgs. It's a distribution of fat loss, but also muscle gain. So I've definitely noticed my back muscles are like a thing, and my leg muscles are a thing. Like everything's, I can just see it visibly when I'm not even doing anything. And that's just completely changed how I feel. Um, Going to the beach over summer wearing my bikini, wearing whatever I wanted to wear, dresses. I just didn't even think about it. Wasn't even self-conscious or worrying. Um, yeah, it's really nice to just feel confident and also just seeing your body for what it's capable of, not just how it looks as well. Um, there was definitely a bit of a mindset shift, I think, probably halfway through, where it was like, oh, it's not necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily about the scale for me anymore. I think it is about maybe more how I feel that is kind of taking the reins a little bit more in the fitness journey that I'm having. Obviously, like there's always kind of body composition things and things from an aesthetic point of view, but definitely noticing it became more important how it was shifting my mindset and just showing that what you can commit to can definitely get results. So, yeah,
It feels good to follow through, right? To do
it
what you
does.
say.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
tick off the 2024 New Year's resolution was pretty rewarding. I love a
Yeah.
checkbox. So,
Yeah. It is so cool that you feel so confident wearing what you're wearing because I remember you saying like I wear baggy clothes all the time.
mm,
I don't really feel comfortable in my wardrobe and I want to be able to just kind of pick up anything and feel like I can wear that with confidence.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it's really nice to just be able to wear anything and not have to think twice about it. Um, I still love baggy clothes. I think it's also just part of my my fashion, the oversized shirts and stuff. But now if I do wear something a bit more fitted, I'm not worrying about how I look or anything. I'm like, this is my body and I'm capable of lifting heavy things and doing hard things. Was able to run a half marathon in August last year, which was great. It was a long time coming. So I think the kind of combination of actually putting some strength into my body helped a lot with preventing injury. I went so long without being able to get past probably 8 kilometers, I think, because of a long-term lower back issue, niggle. So it was really rewarding to be able to be like, okay, I think we just needed strength in my back, to be honest, to just be able to support what load I was putting on my body for such long distances.
This is such a good point. Yeah, physically, like you've been, I believe, pain-free, like you haven't had a flare
Yeah.
up or
Nah, not at all. At all, which is so nice. It's so nice because it's very disheartening when you enjoy something a lot. And I love the runner's high, the endorphins that you get from running. And it was a bit shit to not be able to run that far or do a half marathon again for years. It had probably been since pre-COVID, so 2020, 2019 when I ran one last. So it was a long time of trying to push, run a little bit more. Oh, no, I can feel my back, having to go back to the physio and just kind of cycling. So it was kind of proved that I guess strength goes very much alongside running, and how much that can support your injury prevention. Didn't really think about that. I always just thought you just run more and you get better at running, and that's it. That's all
yeah.
there is to it.
No, definitely not. You probably
No.
save so much money too on physio and chiropractors
Yeah.
and like healing modalities by taking more of a proactive approach as well. I'm not out here
Yeah.
saying I can heal backs, but it is common sense that strength training is, well, maybe not
Mm.
common sense, but it makes sense when you think about it that strength training can help with pain management and reducing, you know, these kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like frequency of flare-ups, I
Yeah.
suppose, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And just, I guess, the whole other side of training, which is making sure you're doing stretching. And I think through kind of going down the route of doing more gym stuff, I'm saunaing more, go to ice baths, do more breathing stuff, legs up the wall. What are the
Mhm.
little sharp back things called? Shark D mats. Love the
Yeah.
shark D. I don't know, you start to integrate all these other things into your life, which I guess help and assist with injury prevention. And so you just develop a bit more of like an all-round athletic performance. The more you do, the more you want to do. And
Mhm.
even just walking and stuff as well, like never really prioritize steps. And now it's quite a big part of my life. I remember when I first got the step count set, I was like, oh my God, this is so many. I probably walk like 1,000 steps, 2,000 steps a day, and now the average is probably around 8,000. And it's just the consistency of even if you can't get a gym workout in, what can I do today that will positively impact myself in the long term? Steps is easy, it's free, and everyone likes doing it over summer, so it's pretty easy to slot in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how like your lifestyle has changed. Like this is the definition of a lifestyle change
Hmm.
because it's not one thing that you do, it's who you become. And if you're the
Yeah.
kind of person that looks forward to going to the gym, that is mindful and intentional with meals, or that on average goes for walks and gets in steps.
Yeah.
Like you then become the kind of person that doesn't get results, but also keeps results.
Hmm.
And I mean, like the goal here is to never go back to where you were when we began, right? Because you can't
Yeah.
unknow what you know. But that said, it sounds like you've just had like this fantastic experience, and I know it's not been smooth sailing. Like,
Mm.
what have been some of the challenges or like the moments where you've gone,
Mm.
oh, things aren't feeling as like easy as they could.
Challenges. I guess a lot of mental stuff was probably the challenges. Mm, The weeks that maybe the scale would go up. I think at the beginning I found it really hard to rewrite my brain to be like, you need to eat more calories to get to a baseline level to then drop from there. I was like, no, don't want to eat more. Don't want to eat more. I'm gonna lose weight. This doesn't make any sense. And I think just kind of learning and trusting in the process has been really, yeah, it's been just like a different mindset and approach to it. Um, a lot of times I'd kind of gone through the cycle of trying to lose weight and trying to go on this new health kick, this January 1st health kick, and then falling off of it and then just not believing in myself. Like maybe it's just not me. Maybe this is just how I am and how my body looks, and this is just what I've got to accept and um how I've got to be for the rest of my life. But I think a lot of it is around kind of the self-talk, and kind of figuring out where that is coming from. Why do I think that way? How can I reframe that in a different way? What evidence do I have to support it? The kind of mental shift, I think, has been the biggest to come through. And just trusting in it as well. When, the scale's not coming down, just looking at the nutrition's good, the working out, I'm working out consistently, I'm walking daily. I've just got to keep doing it and just keep consistent. And change will come. It's not overnight. And apparently, you cannot just buy the body that you want or suddenly drop 5 kgs overnight, unless maybe you have some really terrible sickness and
Yep,
everything
yep.
exits you, then maybe. But it's just consistency and doing the same thing and choosing the best decision daily, weekly, and then, yeah, change will come over time.
Yeah, I love that because
Yeah.
change is scary, stepping out of your comfort zone, trying something new isn't isn't like the first thing that people go, "Oh yeah, let's do the thing I have no idea will bring me results."
Mm,
Like it's almost easier to stick with what you know, even if it's getting you
yeah.
nowhere, because it's predictable and you know what to
Yeah.
expect versus let me try something new. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. Like it takes guts
Mm,
to do that, and I'm really grateful that you didn't just trust in me and the process, but you actually really engaged in it. And you were
yeah.
open about things like when you were going through a stressful time or when you had to work late
Mm,
or when you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing with this exercise. Like you didn't just blindly go, okay, I'll do what Sav says. You
mm,
like asked the questions and engaged and like shared your training videos and did these things that really enabled me to help you better, which
yeah.
is really you helping you, you
Yeah.
know?
Definitely. Asking the questions as well, because I feel like specifically for nutrition, you kind of need to know it. You need to like learn the basics and you need to build up that knowledge base to then make educated decisions because it's not just a here's your meal plan for the week. This is exactly what you're going to eat. As soon as you go off the nutrition program, you have no clue what to eat. And so you just end up going back to exactly what you had before, which was not healthy, not high protein, not hitting any of your nutritional requirements, being able to just learn kind of the foundations. I think that that has been probably one of the most rewarding things. Knowing now that if I go out and have dinner, I'm like, okay, I know how to structure plates. I know exactly what I'm eating. I know what different things have and impact my body and how it's going to make me feel afterwards, how it's going to impact my training. It's just, yeah, it's a different way of looking at food instead of just seeing it as, oh, it's a hassle. I don't really understand it. It's complicated. Joe over
Yeah.
here says go vegan. Steve over here says go carnivore. Do this, do this, do this. It's really overwhelming. But I think at the end of the day, there are basics of nutrition and as you kind of learn that and build up that knowledge base, it kind of takes the stress out of eating as well. Um, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. It shouldn't be, I mean, we should be taught nutrition. Unfortunately, we're not. And so
no.
seeking out that information is really on you, is on all of us.
Mm,
I wouldn't know what I know if I didn't go out and seek it because I was never taught it from my parents or school. Like it's
no.
not inherent. And it can be really tough when you think, well, it should be common sense, right? Like broccoli is good and, donuts, well, it's not kind of like that. There is more to nutrition and then also your relationship with it. Like you said, you're making, it sounds like decisions thinking about future Maddie, not just what you want right now, but you're like, how am I going to
Mm,
feel? And if you're open to sharing, because I know that how food has impacted you has also made a big difference. Are you open to sharing your journey with like your digestion and how that has improved? Because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
huge.
totally. Yeah, totally. So, um, I guess I'm kind of starting to figure out that I think a lot of my digestive things are, yes, lactose, but also stress as well. I think stress has played a much bigger part on my digestion and my gut than what I initially thought. And just being able to kind of track it and figure out maybe what foods are triggers. One thing definitely I've noticed over the holiday period is it's like I could just eat whatever. It's really weird. I think it's a lot of the time is it's like work stress and day to day. But it has overall improved a lot from where it was at. Just kind of feeling like it was an out of control kind of process of anything I ate would just upset my gut. But being able to pinpoint it down and be like, if I spend the day maybe doing some breathing in the morning, and then if I stay away from dairy, then I can kind of keep my get under control. It's definitely changed a lot. I mean, it was pretty bad at the start, so any step forward is yeah, in the right direction. So I still feel like I've got a bit of a way to go figuring out exactly how to kind of control it because there's still times in life that are going to be busy and stressful and everything gets overwhelming. But at least knowing now that these kind of things start to trigger me and not thinking that the world's coming to an end because my digestion is controlling my life. So, yeah.
Yeah. To paint a picture, like you were struggling with what, bloating,
Hmm.
like always needing to have a bathroom nearby, like not
Yeah.
quite. Were you
Yeah.
struggling with like feeling sluggish, energy?
Energy levels definitely. Very fatigued all the time. I was almost like falling asleep at my desk at work, especially mid-afternoon. I remember people always talk about like the mid-afternoon crash, and that's when you crave sugary things. That seems like a distant memory to me. I do not get that at all. I feel like mid-afternoon, I have this like I've just had a big lunch, and then my kind of energy levels almost go up again throughout the afternoon. I have one matcha in the morning, if that. At the moment, if that, I'm not having any coffee or caffeine at all over the break. And just feel like my energy levels are just consistent. Whereas before it was maybe two, maybe three coffees, and then sluggish, tired, digestion going. But now it's definitely like you kind of ride the high throughout the day, and then as it comes to nighttime, you get tired, which is how it should be. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
crashing at 2 p.m. after you've had a big, heavy past the lunch. It just feels like I've had a spike of energy because I've just eaten. So it's a definitely a kind of seems like a distant memory, is what I was saying.
Yeah. It's so important to reflect on that though, because like the baseline will move and what you consider normal
Mm,
now was probably like a dream outcome for me. And
yeah,
it also is encouraging because it goes, well, okay, what can I accomplish in the next 6 to 12 months? Like what is next for me? Because if you recognize how good you can feel now, it's like, wow, imagine how much better it can even get. Although it sounds like you're
it's
fucking
crazy.
firing, like it sounds like things are just
Yeah,
going so well, which is great. And I'm hoping that, well, I mean, I'm hearing and I know you that the skills that you've learned, especially with like reframing, like you've just said, understanding nutrition, like these are skills that you now have in your toolbox for the rest of your life. And you get to kind of pick and choose and like add to the toolbox and decide what's
yeah,
useful in what situation and what's not. And that's a really cool thing because that's
yeah.
what's set you up, you know?
100%. Yeah, it's skills for life. And
Mm.
even just kind of going away over the holiday period and maybe kind of making decisions just free in the world, it sort of showed to myself that I have learned a lot. And a lot of the things that I do now are just habits. I
Mm.
remember reading Atomic Habits and being like, I understand the concept, but as soon as you apply it to something like working out, I just would always jump on and be like, I'm going to work out 6 days a week and do that for 1 week and then stop, not work out for a month. And now I just know that like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for a run later when it cools down. I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow. Like it's just kind of habits. And I know that I want to do it. It's not just oh, I've got to tick a box, I feel like almost antsy and like ready to go and get a workout in. So it's funny how much that can shift from what they kind of say is just do it consistently for 30 days or consistently for 6 months. And then it just kind of becomes routine. And it's so much easier to prioritize it because you just see it as being part of your life. If you don't work out at least once or twice a week, I notice it everywhere. Like you notice your mindset, maybe a bit antsy, maybe not sleeping very well, digestion's probably off. Like it kind of just has this snowball effect. And so now that it's there and it's kind of the foundations, it's so much easier to just kind of slot your life around it. Um, yeah, keeps me going.
I love it. It's so cool because everything is connected. Like you're not a robot. These things
No,
all play a role. And if you can recognize and be so in tune with yourself of like when something's missing or when you've not had enough of something or done too much, like again, that's just such a skill, you know? And I
yeah.
think that's such a strength of yours is like your self-awareness. And I think that's carried you exceptionally well through this journey because I
Mm,
always yap on. I'm like, it's so important to be reflecting and asking yourself the questions because the best strategy in the world is like trash if you don't actually engage with it, you know?
yeah.
And your self-awareness, I think, is a superpower. And that is
Mm,
something you can develop. You know, that's something that anyone listening can be like, oh, I could take some steps. I could start, learning a bit more, questioning things, figuring out why I'm the way I am, you know? And so I'm really curious. Selfishly, I want to know like what's been your favorite part of the process or the program and why?
ooh, favorite part. Mm, that's tough. I really like the gym workouts. I'm not gonna lie, I really like them. And the fact that every sort of 4 weeks there's like a chance to refresh and update, so new stuff's kind of coming in. Being able to film exercises and get feedback on it, even though I just really didn't like doing that at the beginning. Putting a phone up in the gym, I felt like I was trying to be like an influencer, but then you realize that no one else really cares at all. So I think, yeah, I just really like the gym workouts, just how they're structured, the way in which you can kind of tailor them, but more maybe for the running, for when I was beginning, making it quite easy to understand, quite easy exercises, and then kind of how the workouts have evolved over time. I always find it really fun as soon as the 4 weeks comes, being like, oh my God, it's a whole new week of workouts. Like it just gets really exciting to see how things build on each other. And just seeing how my strength has increased as well. Um, Going from lifting small little dumbbells to actually lifting quite heavy weight above my head or off the ground has really surprised me, especially being able to deadlift my body weight is a pretty pretty big feat for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really do enjoy the gym workouts. I think yeah, having that as kind of a foundation in my life now, no matter what I do, is definitely going to be something that continues forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So having something that was like custom to you and always
Yeah,
meeting you where you're at.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
It never felt like, oh, there's a exercise in here which I'm just going to ignore because I don't know what it is. Like I can't do it. It always felt like there was, I guess, alt like progression kind of exercises to build into things. So a goal is still to be able to do a pull up. So there's, your lat pull downs and assisted pull-ups and things that are able to support it. So it wasn't like, oh, it's this crazy, intense, expert gym session, which I have no idea how to even do and I'm not capable of doing. There's definitely, you can kind of see the steps and you can see the way in which the weights and the exercises are building up. And I can see how it impacts, yeah, the strength that I am building and will hopefully one day get to a pull up and obviously my running strength as well, being able to support that. So, yeah, it's
Totally.
nice being able to know that the workouts and the exercises you are doing are very specific for what your goals are and
Totally.
seeing the benefit, the physical benefit that they have as well. Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. You were starting in the gym. I'm not going to have you doing deadlifts and pull-ups off the bat. It's like,
no,
where are you at now? Where do you want to be? Let's bridge that. And like, it takes time, but
yeah,
progressing from dumbbells to the barbell, and then
Mm,
from like barbells with light weights to like stacking on body weight.
yeah,
Y- you've never done anything that anyone else has ever done. Like that, I think, is the value of having somebody that knows you. And I think
mm,
for anyone listening, and also just as a reminder to you, like there is so much noise, as you alluded to before, and all some of it is good. Like some of the noise on social media is valuable, but you don't know that unless you're working with someone who knows you.
yeah,
So being able to decipher that information and go, oh, is that like contextual to me? What can I take from that? Versus like, Barry Big Butt is like, oh, you have to eat 3 times your body weight in protein and you have to do this exercise or you fail. It's like, does that apply to
yeah,
me?
no,
Maybe, maybe not. Probably
yeah,
not, So it's cool to hear that you always felt like you were supported in the gym with what you needed
yeah,
and not pushed far beyond like what you were capable of, because that's definitely not my
yeah.
goal.
No, definitely. It was exactly where I was needing the right amount of push, but without being too difficult. And I think it's become so obvious through this process that nutrition, exercise, I guess the whole kind of coaching world is personalized. And even though there are things out there that can be kind of copy and paste templates, there's no way to know if the exercises you're doing are right for your injuries or for your current level of fitness, or if there's modifications you can do to make it easier. Um, and then the whole nutrition side of things, like it's a lot of kind of testing the waters and seeing how different calories and different maybe protein levels respond to your body and then making adjustments. It's not just you need to eat 1,700 calories and this is what everyone should be eating. It's so personal and you only learn it through, I guess, going through the process of one-on-one coaching and being able to see like this is where I'm at as an individual. The person next door is going to be at a very different level, very different calories, different workouts. And needing that very personalized support, especially to just like get me off the ground, was what I definitely needed. I think if I'd just taken a printable program from the internet and just done that, I wouldn't have got to where I am, because it's a lot of kind of feedback and learning through the process as well. I definitely did probably the most journaling I've ever done in my life over our coaching and just reflecting on like how different things make me feel and how I respond to things and kind of how my mindset shifted over time. And I think a lot of those kind of prompts, worksheets, and things that we've done over the last 6 months have helped to not only, I guess, push me forward in the gym and get results, but also develop a mindset which is going to be sustainable in the long run. And ultimately, that's what you're trying to do, become a different version of yourself. Someone that does get up, go for their steps, does go to the gym, does eat foods that make them feel good. You're developing a new person. You're not just trying to become this person next door. That's not the point of it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now.
That's beautiful. And there's so much more than just like a before and after photo, isn't it? Like,
100%.
I think people get this perception that like if I hire a coach, I get my macros and I get my workout plan. And you've just said like, oh yeah, these worksheets that we've done and like these things we've talked about. And it's like,
Mm,
I could not give two shits if you've just hit your calories, but your world is crumbling around you. It's like,
yeah,
okay, do we need to spend more time doing legs up the wall or how's your sleep? These things are just so important because, yeah, you are becoming a whole new person. You can't slap a program on and expect all of these problems to fix themselves. It's like, get to the root, and it doesn't have to be that deep. It's not like therapy or anything, but like getting to the root of like how
mm,
you start taking those steps in the right direction towards what you're becoming versus kind of getting sucked into like confusion and just spinning your wheels and
yeah,
thinking next thing's going to be the thing. It's like, no, maybe lifestyle change.
yeah, 100%. Because
Maybe.
it's not just like even with I guess like overeating or kind of making decisions where you just sort of start binging. There's an emotion that's attached to that. Maybe not going into the gym and being scared of the gym, there's an emotion attached to that. And so you're never going to be able to become a gym rat or someone who eats consistently well with occasional treats and stuff if you don't understand what the underlying root cause of those decisions is. And being able to just notice it as well, be like, oh, I feel a bit stressed. I'm aware of that. This is what's going to make me feel better going for a walk outside, maybe structuring my workouts different this week, knowing how you can make those decisions in a healthy way instead of just responding with a bag of chips or chocolate, I think is the whole reason why there's a whole mindset piece that goes alongside it.
Mm.
Because otherwise, as soon as the workout program's finished, you're just going to rebound back to where you were before. Um, Once you kind of understand yourself and know yourself, that's something that you've built forever. You don't suddenly just lose it and forget one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I remember you specifically having a breakthrough one week where you'd had a weekend, you're like, I'm not super proud of my eating. So I didn't track
Mm,
that weekend. And I was
yeah.
like, right, I don't care what you ate. I care about how you responded to it. And then I think for every week
Mm,
after that, you were like, "Ah, if I had a moment I wasn't proud of, I still tracked it. I was still accountable. And like, it's no big deal." And that I think was probably pretty pivotal in like having that
yeah.
all or nothing mindset fade out too.
Yeah.
There's been so many points where I'm just like, that's it. It's like
Yep,
wins.
definitely. Definitely. Yeah, because I was like, if it's not perfect, I'm just not going to bother. And it's the way that I've approached a lot of things in life. If I'm not going to commit to this program perfectly for 6 months, then I'm just not going to bother. I'm not going to track anything. I'm not going to work out, knowing that it's a bit of both. It's like you need to kind of have consistency, but you can also enjoy life. Like it's not perfection, which is going to get you where you need to go. It's consistency. And yeah, that's probably like the word of what my experience was, oh my God, it's just consistency. Like it's just keep going and keep pushing through. Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day, and that is very true.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I'm really curious, what would you say to somebody who is on the fence about working with me, joining the program, and kind of making a change for themselves?
Just do it. Honestly, just do it. I have had such a positive experience working with Sav. I've really enjoyed it. Um, like I sort of said, it's been, yes, kind of this whole understanding the world of nutrition and learning how to love the gym, but also learning how to love myself and the mindset stuff that's gone along with it. I feel like you could sit for hours and hours and read all this stuff and try to become this like whiz, but sometimes you just need someone who knows, and someone who knows you to guide you along the journey. I think we so often go, oh, I'm sick, I'm going to go see a doctor. Like, I've got something wrong with my car, I'm going to go see a mechanic. But why don't we go, oh, I really want to improve myself as a person. I'm going to go see a coach and work one on one for a bit. I Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer. If you do just want somewhere to get started, it should be kind of the go-to is to go to Sav, specifically, and work with someone who knows what they're talking about, because having someone guide you through the journey and understand why you kind of make slip backs and how you can push through things, and just customize exactly what you're doing, I feel like has made it feel so much more of a process and a journey for myself rather than just following along and expecting to become someone that I'll never be. It's all about learning who you are as a person, and that why I think probably working one on one is the best way, because it is so personalized. So yeah, loved working with you, Sarah. So thank
Oh,
you.
I just love you. I honestly do, and I appreciate that. I promise I'm not bribing you or paying you. You could have said anything, and I'd have been like, "Yeah, fair. Give me your honest experience." So that means it honestly does mean the world, and I'm really grateful that the one takeaway is that you didn't feel like you had to perform. Because if you
Yeah.
had your shit figured out, you wouldn't be here. And I don't expect anyone to be perfect and like
Mm.
have it all together. That is like the opposite reason of joining a coach?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it didn't feel like you had to perform and you had to do things
No.
because I told you to. It's like
No.
you really, again, just engaged in the process, and I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful that you're graduating on a happy note and you're like, cool.
Mhm.
So what's next? Talk to me about what's next and we can plan out what the next few steps look like.
Yep. What's next
Yeah.
is I think I'm going to keep using my Fitness Pal for a while
Oh,
longer. I find it quite easy to use now that I'm used to it. And because I eat a lot of the same stuff, I just copy and paste my meals across. So it's nice to at least just be on top of and aware of what I'm eating. At least for a while longer, I think. It's not really feeling like much of a chore at the moment now that I'm home from holiday. So definitely keep doing that. I am going to do another half marathon. I'm not sure if it's going to be Tarawera because it is
okay.
very, very soon. Um, Considering doing one in like May time, I think might space it out quite nicely, for like a solid training block.
Okay.
And then hopefully maybe Queenstown Marathon in October. So very ambitious goals for the year. But I
When
kind
do
of
you go to Europe?
July, August, like
Okay.
5 weeks. I didn't really think about that. I did not
Something
really
to
think about that.
consider.
Yeah, something to consider. Because in my mind, I'd just kind of forgotten that I'm away for 5 weeks.
It's not too long. You can still run in Europe, but
Yeah, that's true.
if you are going to is really the question, right?
Mm,
But I would recommend focusing until May, getting really clear on what you want from May, and then I mean how you're because are you wanting to lose more body fat? Are you wanting to just focus on your half marathon? Where are you at with those?
Kind of got goals that overlap. So I think from maybe February, March, I was wanting to do another little mini fat loss phase,
Yeah,
and try do another 3 or 5 around that 3 or 5 kgs, and sort of do that for a bit whilst just kind of keeping the running level at maybe like 10 to 15 Ks,
yeah,
um, and then being able to push through to a half and hopefully a marathon at some point later in the year.
that's so exciting.
Quite ambitious goals.
It might feel that way, but you're more than capable.
Yeah.
That's 12 months that you
Mm,
are so capable. And if you keep up your strength training and you don't focus on being in a deficit for half the year, you
no.
will crush that.
Yeah. Because I think it would only be sort of a 10 to 12 week kind of block to be able to
Yeah.
do the next fat loss phase,
Yeah.
and then get back into building up calories to be able to have full send for the half marathon.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's why I sort of thought it would be nicer to push it out because I'm kind of forgetting that it's in like exactly a month's time, this Tarawera one. And I think I thought in November, October that that was very reasonable, but then forgot that I don't really do too much over my holiday.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it really starts from like next Monday is like I'm back into work, I'm back into like proper routine. Even though I have been working out this week and doing a couple sessions over the break, I feel like I need to be putting in a lot more kilometers to be able to get to that point in a month. So I'd
Yeah.
be running the risk of injury if I did Tarawera, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you could pull it out of your bum, but you probably wouldn't be in a safe spot. So yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. All right. Do you want my advice or do you have any
No, I want
specific
your
questions
advice.
about this?
I want your advice.
Okay. So I would recommend we want to work backwards. Okay. So May, what day is the half marathon?
If I did one in May, it would probably be the Rotorua. Uh, there's a few different ones around that time, like Mayish. I think there's the Rotorua half, which looks quite good, and it looked
Okay.
flat.
Good. That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Half marathon. All right, let's see. 3rd of May. Okay, so say the
Oh,
first
that's my
week.
birthday.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think
Run a
that's
half
meant to
marathon on my
be.
birthday. I think that's meant to be as well. That'd be fun. Birthday
I think
run.
that's so I would say from now, if you're back into tracking your food to February,
Mm,
do your best to try and probably for the next 3 weeks, because you've already probably had 3 weeks of eating a bit more flexibly and you've probably not changed your body composition that much. Like you probably held quite nicely, which
mm,
because we've been tracking it, like you're in a good spot. If you spent the next 3 weeks, again, just eating maintenance, getting 2,000 plus calories a day, making
Hmm.
sure your protein and carbs are really important, it's going to set you up really well for February and maybe into March. I would say for your goal to shave off 3 to 5 kilos, which let's be real, probably isn't 3 to 5 kilos. It's probably like another 3 to 5% body fat.
Yeah.
If you spent 6 to 8 weeks doing that, you'd probably be in a nice spot to then give
Mm.
yourself another 8 weeks to focus on eating enough leading into May. Maybe not 8 weeks, maybe like 6.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I would say spend the rest of January eating enough, first and
Yeah.
foremost, making sure you're tracking your progress, you're not gaining unwanted body fat. Expect this to be some fluctuation. It's not meaning that you're getting fat. It's just,
Mm.
you know, make sure that you're building as much muscle and strength as you can. And
Yeah.
then say the 3rd of February, because that's a Monday, you could very
Mm.
well jump back into another deficit. You're going to shave 400 to 500 calories off and do that for 6 to 8 weeks
Yeah.
and pull back. And that, I mean, honestly, I'm not to say that's your journey done, but like you shouldn't probably need to lose any more weight after that point. It would be
Yeah.
fine-tuned, right?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So that's how I would structure things. That gives you the best of both worlds,
Yeah.
especially maximizing on the fact you've just been on holiday and you've not been in a deficit, which is perfect. Like that
Yeah.
is primo, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. And it's like, it's even funny, like over these last few weeks, I think, was it that other morning? I forgot to do my measurements, but I weighed myself and I was like, oh, we're the same. That's so nice. That's so nice to see. I mean, it's not the only measurement, and like I could be, I don't know, switching out muscle for fat or anything, but just as a single measurement, I was like, oh, I haven't put on 5 kgs. That's so nice.
No, because you know it doesn't work like that.
No, I
No.
know. It's just like, it's just the evidence keeps like confirming, being like, can't believe I thought this. At one point of my life, I thought like you just jump back on after not going to the gym twice and suddenly you've put all this weight back on. Can't believe that that was my like understanding and my mindset. I just catch myself sometimes when I like do jump on the scales or do my photos and I'm like, oh, I look the same. That's so nice. I can just eat consistently a good amount of food and not restrict. And yeah, it's funny how it's just like I'm eating more food than I was before and I'm maintaining a lower weight. It is so funny to believe that. But yeah, I think that's the plan. And just keep doing strength training, running, gonna do some more running, probably a couple a week. And then see how I am following getting back from Europe, and hopefully do a full marathon
Love it.
later in the year. If not, then I'd probably have my sights on Tarawera next year because
Cool.
that would be an epic one to do as a marathon. So
For
yeah,
sure. I mean, yeah, it looks incredible. It
it
honestly
looks
does.
like such a cool one. I just want to be there to watch all the ultra marathon runners finish, to be honest. That's like 90% of the reason why I want to go.
Yep. I know. It's wild. There's this new run in Nelson called the Spectacle, and it's 100 miler. So
Oh my
160K.
God.
I
Yeah,
know. And they run it over like 3 days. And you just go, man, that's phenomenal. Like, how do you
crazy.
stay coherent? If I get less than 8 hours sleep, I lose my mind. Like,
Oh, it's
let alone
mental.
running through the night. Yeah. But the 3rd of May sounds like a go. And I would really encourage you to
Mm,
think not about like have a vision for the year, but really chunk it down and go, what am I spending the next like 6 to 8 weeks on? Just like with your
yeah.
training program, is like how do you block things so that you're not getting pulled in a million directions and going, oh, I really want to like lose body fat now, or I want to focus on strength or running. It's
Mm,
like make sure that you've got a clear plan that doesn't take too much time so that you
yeah.
can stay focused and hit all of them. Yeah,
Yeah. Definitely,
makes
because there's definitely different phases throughout the year. There's different kind of chunks of time. and having kind of a solid training block in front of the run, but also having a little chunk of time, which so it's all different things. And I remember you talked about that at one point. You're like, well, so what is the focus? Like, what is the one focus? Is it building your running training and endurance, or is it losing fat? Because you can't do both. And I was like, oh,
I want
okay.
both.
I want both, but you can do them at different times. Like as soon as I started eating more and then going into doing runs, I was like, I have all this energy. This is so bizarre. Like I can just run and you just feel the fuel within your body. But being in a deficit and trying to train for a half marathon, it's just a completely different world. Like you just don't have that endurance to be able to see it through. So
Yeah.
yeah, different
Yeah.
different phases of the year for sure. I think is the plan.
And honestly, you should be at a point now where, yes, you're going to go into the second little like fat loss phase.
Mm.
But at that point, you should be like, okay, I don't even need to feel like I need to lose 10 kilos again,
No,
right?
God, no,
You
no.
can go, you can just focus on living your life. Like that era is now
Mm.
done, so to speak. And it's more
Yeah.
fine tuning than it is, I've got no idea what to do. I don't know how this works. And like I'm losing and gaining the same amount, right? It becomes
Mm.
much smaller. Like, hey, if I gain like a kilo or two over the holidays, that's like Europe, you're like, okay, had a few gyros and lemon
Yeah,
spritz. But then
that's fine.
you come back and you're like, "Ah, it's like a kilo or two, and I know what to do, and it's not going to take me 3 to 6 months to do
Yeah,
that, you know?
no, no, and it's not going to take me years of yo-yoing back and forth to try figure out that I actually have no idea what I'm doing and I can't get anywhere. So yeah, I think just getting to like consistently good level of calories, and now it should be a lot easier for me to kind of drop from there. Because I feel like when I started tracking, I was eating like probably not enough, I don't think. 1,700 calories,
Yeah, no, definitely
1,600
not. Not,
as like
especially
just consistent.
Yeah, especially not for a half marathon. No.
No.
But what would have happened is like you were finding that during the week you're fine, and then during the weekend you weren't, right? So it's not for lack of
Mm,
trying. You were consistent with like what would be considered a deficit, but then blowing it out 1 to 2 days
yeah.
a week and not meaning to, but that's what would have tipped you over. And that's
Mm,
how you get stuck just going, what the fuck? I'm trying so hard. And
yeah.
you are, but it's the consistency, right, of the averages. So if your
Yeah.
average is like peanuts during the week, of course you're going to be like, I'm tired, I'm sluggish,
Yeah.
I need an easy life, or I need like some fun. Because if you're stressed out, it's not like on the
Mm,
weekend to go out with my friends because that's the only joy I get. Not the only joy, but sometimes. And that
yeah,
comes
it's
with like
true.
the food and the drink. And so getting a handle on like across the week, eating enough, and then across the week, hitting your average of deficit, you're golden, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because I think my weekends were shocking. They've definitely gotten better. I mean, at the moment, it's just a consistent weekend, and I'm
Yeah.
eating a big salad with chicken or veggie sausages or having a smoothie for breakfast. And it's just kind of like, oh, I can just eat the same. Like, doesn't have to be like this weekend is now this treat, and maybe I skip some meals and I do this differently. It's just 3 meals, maybe a couple snacks, and just consistently throughout. So yeah, it's a lot easier.
Amazing. You should be so proud of yourself, truly.
I am. I'm really, really stoked, especially where I think I started 6 months ago to where I'm at now. And just where my kind of goals and plans are going over the next 12 months. I don't think I could have imagined that I would actually get somewhere last year. It's always the same thing. It's like I finish the year, I move over the lose 5 kg goal into the next 12 months, and then I try to do that again, gets the end of the year, moves over, and it's just frustrating never being able to tick that off. And so I feel like now I'm like I'm on, like I've like finally gotten on to where I needed to be to then I can start taking on all these other goals of running things and hopefully be able to do pull-ups at some point. So keep building on my pull-up strength throughout the year. These things are all kind of starting to feel a lot more possible than just, oh, they'll happen once I'm finally able to figure out how to lose 5 kgs. We're not waiting for someday. I feel like I've just I've got on the platform now to like actually start achieving these big goals fitness wise. So
It's incredible. That's incredible.
yeah, very happy.
How freeing that you can spend more of your time worrying about other things than like
Yeah,
how you look or the scale. Like
yeah,
how free.
100%. I know it's very, very freeing and it's a different world to what I've always lived in. I feel like I first started to like try to lose weight when I was like 16, 17. And the only time that I was ever able to lose it was during the F45 challenge, which then I came off, completely gained it all back plus some, and went, oh shit, this is even worse than when I started. And that was the only time. Like since then, it's just been weight just going like this, fluctuating, yo-yoing, and it's never just been like, oh, we've actually learned how to just eat now, and we've learned that consistency you build habits, which are things that you maintain, and it's not, oh, I'm just going to stop going to the gym as soon as we're finished coaching. I'm going to keep going to the gym. That's not going anywhere at all. That's definitely staying. We're good.
Incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Is there anything you wanted to ask or like that I can help with? Obviously, we got another whole week, so I'm here for you, but like, is
Yeah.
there anything you want to ask while we're here? I'm thirsty.
Something I want to ask. Not that I can think of. Think I've kind of got a little bit of a plan coming out of this, what
Cool.
the next 12 months should hopefully look like. Obviously we'll be back in touch if I just get completely lost along the way. But hopefully I can
Or
navigate.
or if you're like, I do want to fine tune things and I know where to
Yeah,
go, like you don't always have to
yeah,
come to me in a chaos state. It's like,
that's true.
you know, yeah, I'm not
That's true.
not a disaster zone. Not to say you were, but
No,
like also things can be going well and you can be like, I really just need that accountability and someone to tell me what to do so that like my brain
yeah.
space, yeah, you know,
Yeah, totally. So it's funny how much it takes it out of your mind as well. It's like I can spend all this time when I was trying to do it by myself, focusing on like nutrition. Okay, I need to plan out this and I need to plan out this workout for the week and then this. Like you just spend a lot of time worrying and a lot of brain energy into trying to figure it out and researching and Googling and being like, start again on Monday. We're doing this new PDF workout program we found online. Whereas it's just like, it's just you offload all of the like planning and organization and stress of it. Um,
totally.
it's so much easier. Hopefully, you
Yeah.
don't feel the stress and the weight of everyone else's on you.
God, no. No, I happily take it. Best job in the world. But yeah, I think what we can do is you've gotten back into tracking, which is great. So I
Mm,
would encourage you to get back to the targets I'd already set you prior.
yeah,
I can see that you're slightly under that. So definitely make
yeah,
sure I'm building that up over Jan.
yeah.
And then come 3rd of Feb, you'll be primed to drop
Ready
those
to
calories
go.
down. And it won't need to be as low as last time because
Yeah,
you've built up. Yeah.
nice. That sounds like a plan. But yeah, just wanted to reiterate, obviously, we've got another week, but thank you so much for all your support along the journey. I've yeah, definitely achieved more than what I thought was possible. And yeah, I feel like it was what I needed last year, definitely. To I guess start off with the scholarship and then to go into full programming and coaching with you. I think it completely changed my year, and I'd be in a very different position now. Have very different goals for this year, if it weren't for your support along the way. So yeah, I just want to reiterate how grateful I am for all your help, support, encouragement, stab in the guts sometimes. Track your weekends.
A loving kick in the ass. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's needed. Sometimes it's needed. You
We
just
all
need
need.
someone to tell you how it is, because otherwise you'll never actually just see what the holes are, the reasons why you keep slipping up. Yeah, it's tough love, but it's needed at times. So yeah, appreciate a lot.
Oh, you've made my day. Thank you. It's been such
Mm,
an honor, like a real privilege. And I mean it when I say like you should be so proud. And I'm glad that you are because that is Feeling proud of yourself is, I think, what keeps you going. When you
Yeah.
feel down in the dumps and you're like, oh, I'm just never quite making it. I'm always failing at this. I'm always carrying my New Year's resolutions over. It can like weigh you down. But for you to be sitting here and going, like, heading into this year, I feel like I'm expansive and I'm proud of myself
Hmm.
and I can still see room for growth, but I'm so proud of how far I've come. Like, you haven't forgotten just
No.
how good you've got it, but you can also see how good it can be as well. And that's, again, it's just a strength. So I
Yeah.
think we could sit here all day and like fluff each other up, but it's mutual. It really is. And I'm
Yeah.
really, really stoked to have been able to help you in some degree. And
Yeah.
my door's always open if you ever want to come back.
100%. I'm already pushing a few friends your way. Like, guys, like, oh, who's the coach that you worked with? I'm like, oh, Sav, let me tell you. Let me tell